adventuring through metal history. Starting off, there's heavy metal. Heavy metal itself was an adventure because it differed from rock and roll at the time. Greats such as Black Sabbath, pictured here, brought in amazing guitar riffs that brought people into the dark themes of heavy metal. Black Sabbath itself was known for these dark themes, Ozzy Osbourne himself later biting the head off a bat live at a concert, even though it was unbeknownst to him. Ozzy did not get rabies shots, the bat got Ozzy shots. Led Zeppelin, although also heavy metal, was not as dark as Black Sabbath. They are still greatly influential in the music world even today. Iron Maiden brought heavy metal into a theme that had not yet been spiked upon: history, with songs such as Run to the Hills going off of Native Americans and The Trooper going off of the Crimean War. Iron Maiden brought history into music. Even today, it is greatly accepted. Thrash metal, it differs from heavy metal greatly. Instead of having pounding guitar riffs like Black Sabbath had, they had speedy ones that were amazingly fast, violent, but also extremely talented. Pictured here is Metallica, James Hetfield, Kirk Hammett, Lars Ulrich, and Cliff Burton. Cliff Burton would die in 1986 in a bus crash. He had been sleeping in Lars Ulrich's bunk because they had lost a bet. Megadeth, led by Dave Mustaine on the left, was another thrash metal band who was formed after Dave Mustaine was kicked out of Metallica. Dave Mustaine was responsible for writing basically Metallica's first album, and Megadeth has been completely successful ever since. Slayer has been damned by many over the years for its supposed satanic themes, but also has history in it. From left to right, you have Kerry King, Jeff Hanneman, Tom Araya, and Dave Lombardo. Guitar, singer, drums. Anthrax, although not as well known as Metallica, Megadeth, and Slayer, is another greatly influential band. Scott Ian, pictured on the left, has actually gone off to do some side projects with his band, Stormtroopers of Death. Sabaton is a Swedish power metal band. Power metal is known for basically being heavy metal, but more uplifting in every single way, and tending to be about either history or mythology. Powerwolf is a German power metal band that goes more towards mythology and, as you can see, vampiric appearance, while power metal bands like Sabaton went towards history. The band pictured here is Dragon Force. They are speed metal. Speed metal is some excellent guitar playing, some of the fastest in the world. In fact, 2 of the top 10 fastest guitar players are in Dragon Force. Katakangan are, well, it's kind of hard to describe them, but they are different. Amon Amarth, Swedish melodic death metal. Growling vocals, but based off of Norse mythology. Amon Amarth tours with Sabaton quite often, both being from Sweden. They are very popular across the world. Pantera is one of the most popular bands ever to come out of the southern half of the United States, consisting of Dimebag Darrell Abbott on lead guitar, Philip H. Anselmo on vocals, Rex Brown on bass, and Vinnie Paul Abbott on drums. Pantera would eventually break up and form Hell Yeah, who is pictured here. Well, Vinnie Paul would be in Hell Yeah. And his brother Dimebag, along with Vinnie Paul beforehand, would be in Damage Plan. Damage Plan was a little bit more thrash than Hell Yeah, and was not as accepted nationwide. Dimebag Darrell Abbott was murdered on stage in 2004 by a disgruntled fan. He was missed by all and loved by all. Essentially, heavy metal music has spawned itself from being something that is considered a lower class form of entertainment into something that is a multi-million-dollar industry today. people, when they think of music, they think of the stuff that's going on in the world, like rap, country. But me, I think of heavy metal. I was excited when Black Sabbath came out with 13, and I'm very hopeful that I'll get to see Sabbath in concert someday. The point is, metal itself isn't just a music, it's an adventure. Because going throughout the history of it, there are not only so many great bands that have had an impact on not only the way people have grown up, but on the world itself. And going to a metal concert, unless you know what you're doing, avoid the mosh pits. Like, I'm not kidding. Do not go in a mosh pit unless you know exactly what you were doing. It's fun, but it is dangerous if you aren't careful. Mosh responsibly.